Coming up this week on Kiss My Collectibles, we talk with guitarist Ryan Cooke. Want more Kiss? Be sure and hit that subscribe button and hit the bell icon to stay up to date when we post new episodes.
This is Kiss My Collectibles podcast, but you knew that.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the next episode of Kiss My Collectibles. I'm one of your co-hosts, Jason Herndon, and with me, as always, is...
Andrew Scambatti. Here we are.
Here we are.
First one of 2019.
Oh, it is, isn't it? I didn't even think about that.
This is the fourth calendar year. Not the 4-year anniversary, but the fourth calendar year that we've been doing shows together.
In November, we passed the 3-year mark of doing episodes. Wow. Well, happy anniversary to us.
Happy non-anniversary.
That's right.
To us. But
as you can see on the screen, we don't have a guest on the screen with us today, but we do kind of have a Kiss Collector spotlight. Andrew, a couple of weeks ago, took some time to speak with Ryan Cooke from the Ace Frehley band and the Gene Simmons band, and spoke with him via phone. So we're going to run that interview at the end of this. So make sure you stick around.
Yeah, it's actually really cool. It's not just a normal interview, because I know Ryan's been on a couple of podcasts, but he kind of goes into some of the first items that he got and what got him into Kiss and what got him into collecting. So super cool dude. Really, really glad to call him a friend. I can't wait till the band comes to Cleveland and him and I are able to hang out again and catch up. So it's very, very cool. So even though I did the interview, I recommend you tuning in for it.
Yes, make sure you stick around. You know, we want you to stick around.
He's great on it.
Yeah, Andrew. Who cares about Andrew? We've seen him enough.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
But Ryan's great. So, but before we get to that, we're going to do our normal house cleaning stuff, and I think both Andrew and I have stuff to show, and I guess Andrew is going to go first. So what'd you get this week, brother?
Yeah, so I'm not going to show you what I got first. I've been kind of doing this thing where I'm showing you one item from my collection kind of close to the anniversary of we're recording. So I was looking for two things that I knew that I had, and I found one thing, and then I found something else that I kind of want to show too. So with this being early January always reminds me of the New York Custom Guitar Show, which I attended in the year 2000. And so this was January 2000, right before the farewell tour was announced, and Ace Frehley and Paul Stanley were the guests. So for the very first time, I got to meet Ace and Paul. So unfortunately, I wasn't going to share it, but the picture up on the screen now is a 14-year-old Andrew meeting Paul Stanley for the first time. It's terrible.
Isn't that sweet?
But I thought I had the program for this. Maybe it's in somewhere else, but here's the ticket stub for the New York Custom Guitar Show.
Ah, cool, man.
And I saved this. I mean, I think it was like, I don't know, $11 or $12 to get in, and then you didn't have to pay to meet Gene or Ace at the time. Ace was obviously late, but both of them signed my first album, which I've showed on the show many times before. But that's where those two autographs came from. No photos allowed with Ace. But they did see my picture with Paul. So with this being early January, it always reminds me of this, and I always made sure to save this. So yeah, Sam Ash Custom Guitar Show. It was at the Hammerstein Ballroom in New York. City.
Neat.
So it was a cool day. It was a cool day for a young kid. It was a cool day. So while looking for that, I thought I still had the program for that, and maybe I do somewhere else. I'm not sure where I would have that, but I found one of these. You remember these?
Oh, God, yes, of course I do. I still have mine.
Okay, so this one is special because I got this one at Madison Square Garden, and it was kind of showing all the Psycho Circus merchandise that was to be released at the time. So there was a member on the page, and I'm sorry I can't remember who I was chatting with, but he had framed his ticket and some artwork from the Dodger Stadium show in 98.
I remember seeing that.
This is what the official one looked like. You see that right there?
Yep.
So that was an official item, so I thought he had purchased that, and I had never seen anyone who had purchased that before. But you look, they have some really kind of funny things for sale. So they obviously have the Dodger Stadium unused ticket for a sold-out show. But then they have a Psycho Circus ticket wheel, which is this one right here, where it's like all the U.S. tickets with the album and this kind of cool artwork.
Neat.
So, but it's kind of cool. So you look through this, and it's got like the 2-foot Destroyer dolls, some of the Johnny Lightning cards, cars and cards. Then you got some of the apparel that was at the time. These Kiss Army jackets, and there's actually a denim jacket right there that I didn't know existed. I guess I had forgotten that with just the finger on it. I thought it was only the leather jacket and the leather vest. Also a Kiss watch, which I actually had the Kiss watch, the Solo Faces watch. I loved that watch as a kid. I gotta find that again. $15 back in 1998. That would never be a thing for $15.
It's like it's like looking at the coin.
The order forms, like when
forms.
you were a kid looking at this is for me when I was a kid.
Sickening,
So, but what I thought was the funniest thing here, they're not selling the Kisstory book. They're only trying to sell Kisstory 2, which is Bantha Poodoo. But what I thought was cool is one of the selling points on the front of this page. It says, free gift with your order. And then you look at the order form, and it says, get these items with your gift. A Kiss keychain with the artwork from the You Wanted the Best, You Got the Best album cover. A dog tag. And then if you order more than $200 worth of stuff, you would get those like metal posters. You know the ones I'm talking about?
Yeah.
There they are right there. You can see them right there.
Yes.
So you got those. So I thought that was kind of cool.
I think I have. Was one of them the Live Worldwide?
Yeah, I got one of
I have
those.
one sitting right here.
Yeah, I got one of those.
Yeah.
It's fallen off my wall more times than I can count. But this was cool because this was like kind of the first Kiss's real big entrance back into post-reunion merchandise is when you started getting these. This is right around the time where other stuff besides Spencer's stuff was becoming available, and it was becoming overload with the merchandise. Overload. So I had a lot of good memories looking at this.
Before you move on, I haven't even given it any thought. You were talking about anniversaries, and of course, I think when I saw Kiss on the Psycho Circus tour would have been January 2nd, 99.
You were correct.
In Nashville.
It wasn't the last U.S. show?
I think it was the last U.S. show.
Last U.S. show. Because after they did the Super Bowl in 99, then they went to Europe.
Right. So that would be 20 years ago, a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
Bizarre.
Incredible.
But what I remember most about that show, and of course, the internet was in its infancy. So, I didn't have the best access to information, but the band that opened up on that particular show was Ozone Monday.
Ozone Monday.
And I didn't know who Ozone Monday was, but I was close enough to the stage to go, holy shit, that is Scotty Hill. Oh my God, that's Rachel Bolan. Oh my God, that's Snake Sabo. So, Skid Row, what they went on, to after they broke up.
So it was at the Nashville Arena, and the promoter was Pace Concerts Southwest.
That's right.
Ozone Monday obviously opened it. It wasn't a sellout. 81% of the tickets sold on that one, and I'm getting all this information from KissEndOfTheRoad.com, which used to be KissMonster.com, run by the great Julian Gill. And this was the last show of the Psycho Circus tour. So this was probably the last show of that lineup where Makin' Love was played. And I know when they went over to...
No idea.
Yeah, when they went over to Europe, they weren't playing Makin' Love. But yeah, so I mean and again, that was the last Psycho Circus tour show.
Yep.
In the United States. Then they obviously came over to they obviously went over to Europe after that. I'm just looking at ago. So the show that I saw, Econline Crush, opened up when I saw them at the Garden in 98, which we showed a clip of that on the last show.
I think that was who did most of those shows.
Yes. And then I was looking, and I think I saw the Verve Pipe open up for them in 96. So just weird bands, weird 90s bands that were opening up.
Well, I was lucky enough to see the second show of the tour, which still had, opening up?
Stone Temple Pilots?
No, they didn't do the
Alice
tour.
in Chains.
Alice in Chains. I saw the second to the last show that Lane Staley ever played.
Very, very cool. Very, very cool.
Yeah.
All right, so
and
let's...
then I saw him 10 days later in Memphis, and the Melvins were
The
opening.
Melvins. Look at
Yeah.
that.
So,
Okay, so let's
Move on.
take it back. Let's take it back 3 years, 4 years. Let's talk about some Kiss vinyl. So I have always been looking for the poster, point of purchase poster from Japanese Double Platinum, 1978. And I'm happy to say that I purchased a complete Japanese Double Platinum from 78. So I'm going to show this poster because this is why I bought it.
Right.
And this is one of my favorite posters of all time. So I'm just going to kind of just pan it over here so you can kind of see it.
That's a great shot.
Very, very, very cool. Very, very nice shape. And so I really love having this in my collection. So I'm probably going to throw this in a frame and put it up somewhere because I love it so much. The other thing that comes with this is the Japanese one. There were no differences between the Japanese and the American Platinum Awards. So that's this right here. No difference. Says printed in the USA on the back. There's no difference between this and the one from America. So I also have the sticker with the list, and then the Japanese one comes with this Japanese insert. So these items are the items that are in both versions of the record that I have. Now, I know I'm a vinyl collector, but I was just unaware that there were two different versions of this record. There's a red OB version, which is this one that I have, which is complete. Then there's a yellow OB version.
Well, the yellow OB version is the second pressing, which came out in 1980 or 81 or something like that.
Yes. I was gonna get into that,
Okay,
but you're totally correct. So,
Sorry.
What you're seeing now, you're seeing the labels for the original red OB version. Now, the sleeve that I got with this, it's super nice.
Mm-hmm.
But I know this sleeve is different than the yellow version, but I swear this is the American sleeve. I swear. There are no markings on this that say it's from Japan. Everything in here says it's from America.
Mm-hmm.
But even when I look through, the vinyl books, and I look through the book that was put up by Alan Belisha, the cover for the red OB version still looks different than the cover from the American one. So
Right.
I
We've had this discussion before.
So I think that this is an American cover thrown on there. Again, this I think is just a really nice copy of the American version. This is the yellow OB version that I have. I'm missing the yellow OB, but this is the yellow OB version with the Victor
Correct.
Records thing. So again, I'm not arguing this at all.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I'm arguing. So now you have both of these. You have the red OB version from Japan,
Mm-hmm.
and then you have an American 78 one in your hand too. Like check out the spines. Are the spines the same?
They are different. Okay. Now the spines. Hold on. The spines are identical.
Okay.
Okay. But there's no way we'll be able to show this. But when you look at this, hold on.
Take them out of the shrink wrap.
Well, maybe they're not.
Really?
Hold on. Yes. Shit.
Take them out of the shrink.
Well, I can see clearly right here. I'm trying to tell. Huh. I'm trying to tell if one is embossed and one is the opposite.
Like actually pushed in.
Like pushed in, yes.
So this one is definitely, hold on.
Pushed in?
No, this is pushed out. Because I'm looking at the in here and I don't see anything pushed in.
It's hard to say, Andrew. It's hard to say.
You think they might be identical?
Boy, if they are, it's hard to say. If they're identical, not identical. That is pushed in. That is pushed out. I'm looking. That's in. Okay. Between the I and the S. Okay. You have the little triangle piece, the right triangle.
Yeah.
Okay. On the Japanese version, that is pushed out.
Okay, this is pushed in. This is pushed in for certain on mine.
Yours is for sure pushed in?
Pushed in on the Japanese version. Wait.
Mine is pushed out.
Pushed in.
Mine is pushed out, and on the U.S. it's pushed in for sure. There's no way.
But I tell you, this is the nicest. There's no way we're going to be able to see, especially with the shrink on it. This is the nicest U.S. record sleeve I've ever seen, ever.
I am 100% certain that on my Japanese, that triangle in between the I and the S is pushed out, and on my American version, it's pushed in. I'm 100% positive.
Okay, so I grabbed my 83, 84.
Don't compare those.
And my 78. Fucking identical.
Identical?
Identical.
Mine is not. I wish you could see it in person, because it is definitely not identical.
Well, let's throw it out there to you listeners. If you have both versions, what does yours look like?
Yeah.
Let me put them side by side.
Yeah, and when I pull the Japanese out of the sleeve, I mean, it just looks like, to me, it's made out of a different material.
Mine's
not
identical.
Mine's
identical.
Mine,
actually,
absolutely.
I'll tell you something, and you probably can't see it. American, Japanese, they do look different.
I wish that we could. Obviously, there's no depth perception here.
Yeah, none whatsoever.
But I'm telling you for sure that triangle on my Japanese is pushed out and is pushed in on the US.
Well,
did we look on the insides and see if there was any difference?
Yeah. I didn't see anything.
Yeah, the print on the inside is different on mine.
As far as what?
Font size.
Really?
Absolutely different font size.
Let me look at mine.
Slightly smaller on the Japanese.
Slightly smaller.
Yep. And in slightly different positions everywhere. Let's see if you can tell. You're probably not going to be able to, but yeah, I hate holding these records like this.
Oh, you know what? You're right.
Yeah.
You are right. Yeah, it's impossible to see.
It's impossible
dude,
to
you're
tell.
right.
Yeah. They're different.
I'm looking at these, and it's almost like the Japanese one is a little bit lighter.
Yeah, it's definitely a smaller font, for sure.
Maybe by like 2 points.
All of the information is exactly the same, it appears, but the fonts are definitely smaller. Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so I believe it. This is a Japanese one.
Yep.
I believe it.
I mean, it might have been printed in the USA, but to me, it had to be printed on a different run, because they are definitely, there's definitely differences. It's not from the exact same batch as the US. And I've had, I believe we've had this discussion before when we did the double platinum record.
Yeah.
We might have discussed this.
Yeah.
Because the sleeves do say printed in the USA on them.
Yes.
So, but I it has to be a different run.
So the seller that I got this from on eBay was like, well, it's from here and blah, blah, blah. Because it was kind of a pain in the ass to get this delivered here because he sent it registered mail, and my mailman isn't the best. And I had to wait a couple days to request redelivery, which never happened. And then I had to go to the post office to get it. So it was kind of a pain in the butt to get it.
Yeah. Well, I know you were complaining about it being sent registered, but the seller is just protecting himself, from sending an expensive item and having someone say, hey, it didn't show up, refund my money, and then you get the record. I mean,
yeah,
I get it.
I understand that, but I think maybe they should give the buyer an option because, I work in an office job and I typically don't get home until after the post office is closed. It just so happened that the post office by me is open until 6 o'clock rather than where some are open till 4 or some are open till 5.
Right.
But anyway, so based on the font differences, I would be convinced that would be, if not the Japanese one, certainly a different run.
It's a different run.
Yeah,
I believe they came from the U.S. I just believe it was a different run.
Okay.
And whatever it was done on is just better in quality from the U.S. version, because it seems that all the Japanese versions we see of this, all the VIP first pressings that we see of this, they just are superior to the U.S. versions as far as how they've held up over the years. And of course, that could also be contributed to how the Japanese fan takes care of their stuff over the U.S. fan. We've discussed that cultural thing before, but I just think that it holds up better.
And this one says made in Japan, Polystar. This would be the yellow.
The yellow. You're right. The Polystar reissues that came out in the early '80s. Correct.
So it puts me back. I mean, I have the poster, which is awesome. Really glad to have that poster. Really glad to have that sticker. So did the yellow Obi version come with a tracklist sticker?
The yellow Obi edition didn't come with anything. I don't think any inserts.
Well, I have this. Which is different. Which is different than the one that came.
It came with those, the lyric sheet and stuff. I'm talking about as far as like the Platinum Award poster. Did it come with that?
I mean, this was tossed in there. Whether it belongs in there, I don't know.
I'll have to look. I don't know off the top of my head. I was thinking that the Polystar reissues did not have any of the original inserts in it. I could be wrong. Someone correct me.
Yeah, so I'm in kind of the same snafu that I was in before. I am still missing the yellow Obi. So, again, I'm going to throw it out there to you listeners. If anybody has an extra yellow Obi, I will certainly purchase it from you because that will be the only thing I'm missing.
Yeah, you probably won't find that. The thing about the Polystar reissues is they're generally not expensive.
Yeah, I see them now, but like, I mean, on the both of our pages, Kiss My Vintage Collectibles and Kiss My Collectibles, I had this one up for sale for $50, and I didn't really get any bites on it. So
it's probably because it is missing the Obi, because when people buy Japanese records, they're looking for that Obi. So, yeah, I know what you're saying about having to buy another one and then having this extra one that no one wants to buy from you.
Yep.
That's kind of a pain in the butt.
Yep.
But in general speaking,
generally speaking,
the VIPs, the first pressings with all the inserts and the posters and stuff are pretty expensive. Double platinum you usually get for $150 or something like that. But and then the crazy collections, the ones that came out in the when they came around for 88,
Japan 88,
I think. Yes. Those are stupid expensive.
Yep.
Because
there were so many so much less.
The run was smaller. So those Polystar reissues are generally, I think you can probably find that complete with the Obi for maybe 60, 50 to $70 or something.
Yeah,
like
I've
that.
seen them on eBay. I just didn't want to have to purchase a whole new one.
I get it
without that. So I'm just throwing it out there. If anybody has one or or anything, just let me know. Shoot us a comment or comment on the video. But so again, very, very happy about the Japanese double platinum poster. One of my favorites.
Yeah,
one of
it's
my
great.
favorites. So what? Oh, and the last thing I want to do is I did get my Kiss Army goods finally. So there's a T-shirt and the pin is on my denim jacket. So what'd you get?
I got. Speaking of ticket stubs, I just happened to see this pop up. Here's the deal. As everyone knows, I saw Kiss. Well, not everyone, but anyone who watches the show.
Anyone who
regularly.
watches the show.
I saw Kiss for the first time when I was 7 years old at Municipal Auditorium in Nashville on January 30th, 1983.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, I was too young to realize that you saved ticket stubs then. And for my birthday, I don't know, probably 6 years ago or something like that, a good friend of mine here in town.
Danny Dabbs?
No.
Not Danny Dabbs? I'm surprised.
Different friend. He had went to the same show as well, and he knew that I didn't have a ticket stub, and he gave that ticket stub to me for my birthday, and I was pretty emotional about it.
That's awesome.
It was very awesome. The only thing was he had met Night Ranger after the show, who opened, and he had the whole band, and there were 5 people in Night Ranger, I believe, sign the ticket stub. And so you can't see anything on the ticket stub except for markings. So I have in my saved eBay things, I have Kiss Nashville, just in case anything random pops up. And sure enough, this ticket stub from the show popped up. And, it...
Take it out of the bag. Come on, man.
All right, I'll take it out of the bag.
The glare on the bag is just, it can't see anything. You can put it back in the bag after.
I know, I got to get the tape off. Oh, I ripped the damn ticket. No, I'm kidding. So anyway.
Very cool. Is it laminated?
It's not laminated, no.
Oh, very cool. Very, very cool. I was lucky. I still have my Kiss tickets from the first show I went to. I have the Kiss tickets.
I have all of my Kiss tickets except for this. I have almost all of my ticket stubs, period.
Mm-hmm.
Almost close to 1,000 up. Except for this one. I was too young to realize that you kept ticket stubs. So anyway, I got that. And,
where's the seat for that one? Is that close to your seat by chance?
I don't know if you can tell.
Because was it general admission when you went?
This is a general admission ticket. The floor was general admission. The bowl was assigned seating.
Did you sit in the bowl?
I sat in the bowl. Yeah,
okay.
I was too young to be on the floor.
Okay.
So,
all right.
and this was one of the only shows on the tour that was sold out.
Oh.
So, and there were 9,000 something people there in this little arena. So, and but yeah, this is a general admission ticket. It says it on the bottom.
Still cool. Back in the bag. Can't see a damn thing.
Sorry. Okay. So the next thing that I went after and purchased was I have a complete set of the Wallace Pens, sealed, and 2 or 3 of my pens have a little fading to them.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a discussion with Nicholas about this, was wondering if it was done by my LED lights, which are in my display case, which are not supposed to fade stuff, but it seems like it might have. Anyway, so I did find this really nice Paul pen.
Look at that. It's very cool.
It has a 25-cent sticker on it.
I love when there's like Kmart and like Bradley's stickers on them. I love that.
And the red is much more vibrant on the logo. So I'm gonna, as I see them, luckily my Peter Criss one is in good shape. Mm-hmm. So that because that's a $400 pen all day long. So I'm on a quest to find Gene and Ace to upgrade. But I'm not, eventually I'd like to get them all with nicer colors on them. So I got that Paul, and I was able to trade my other Paul away for some goodies I'll show on the next.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, very, very cool. More
and
stuff?
Then the last thing I got was something that I should have never, ever, ever sold when I sold my original Kiss collection to Peter Arquette back in the late 90s. And this son of a bitch is always expensive to buy. And I always watch it on eBay when they pop up. They pop up occasionally and usually go for $200 or $300 or something like that. But I finally got a good deal on this badass thing.
Oh, yeah. Look at that.
Yeah. And it's in great shape, too.
That's one that I'm missing as well.
Yeah. So I have this and Creatures, which are 2 of the tougher ones. For as far as the U.S. tour books go, not counting the return of Kiss. But I was very, 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 very happy to add this back to my tour book collection.
Yeah,
so
it's very cool.
getting closer and closer to having it complete.
Yeah, getting closer and closer to having a complete pile of tour books, because all your stuff is in piles and boxes.
Yeah, I think actually right here is a pile of tour books
Just
with a bunch of signature stuff on top of it.
I can't. I can't.
I can't.
I can't. I can't. Well. Anyway, because I can't, I think we need to go down under, or down under, as Nicholas says, and let's turn it over to our esteemed co-host, because he's still a co-host on this. He's just busy right now. Nicholas Buckland.
Oh, hello. I seem to be here in a kiss room. Who would have thought it? Not I. I have got a few things today for you, just kind of in the same vein, and the clue is to my whatever side that is. I was never very good with left and right, but I think it's right, left, stage right. The Alive 2 Hanging Arrow. But I have a few things sort of in the realm of songbooks. So the first one I've got is, this is your Kiss Alive 2. There we go. It's a songbook, and it features all the songs from the album. Some great shots inside of the band. Some of the Barry Levine stuff. Very, very cool. Am I holding that up right? I think I am. Anyway, it's got all that. So you got that one. Then, as well as that, you've also got Alive 2, which is the British version. Hello, old bean. Yes, this one is a splendid one, but this one came out in 1980, as you can tell by Mr. Eric Carr on the front. Alive 2. It has all new pictures from that era, almost very tour book-like, but it does have Peggy Tamarkin's liner notes, which are just taken from the American version. The other one that we've got next is Elmo's Greatest Hits. It's the greatest hits of Kiss, but really it's just pretty much all the same songs from Alive 2 again. This one here, not much in this one. It's more just really kind of basic, kind of piano-y, chordy charts. Still okay. My favourite, though, is this one. Another one, Kiss Rock Charts. This is really cool because not only does it have the scores for all the songs, it also contains in there, if you have a look inside, some great Kiss masks. I haven't pulled them out yet, but they're pretty cool, all from the Rock and Roll Over cover. So yeah, that's your Kiss Alive 2 stuff. There's also a Japanese one. I haven't got it. Send it in.
All right. We appreciate Nicholas sending these cool little segments in, so we can still include him in the show. You know, hopefully once he gets finished with his book, that he will be able to come back with us full time. We'll see.
Yeah.
But so anyway, so let's move on to the feature presentation, shall we?
Feature presentation.
Since you did the interview, I'm going to let you intro it.
Jason was busy with Record Store Day stuff and just keying in a lot of orders for Christmas, so Jason couldn't come. But even still, Ryan was busy traveling, doing, he is a full-time musician, so that's why we had this on audio only. But anyway, so coming up next here is our featured interview with Ryan Cooke from the Gene Simmons Band, currently in the Ace Frehley Band. Ryan goes over his Kiss history as well as his musical history. So stay tuned for some exclusive footage with Ryan playing with Gene, playing with Ace. You're not going to want to miss this one. With me here, super special guest, Ryan Cooke from, the list just keeps getting longer. We got Big Rock Show, Gene Simmons Band. Now you're currently playing with Ace Frehley. So, Ryan, thanks so much for sitting down with us and being on the show.
Awesome. No, glad to be here. Thanks for having me, man.
This is cool because your story, I would almost say it's very similar to Tommy Thayer's story. You're kind of a fan that got to be in the band. First it started with Gene, and then it started with Ace. We are a collecting show, so I definitely want to hit the history of how you got into being involved with these bands. But take me way back. How did you first become a Kiss fan, and when did you first discover the band?
Oh, easy to remember. I was really, really young. I think first grade, whatever year it was, that Kiss was up for the People's Choice Award with Beth.
Okay.
And they weren't there to accept. It was long before you were born. Lydia Chris accepted on their behalf, and I was home watching TV with my mom, dad, and my sister. And the footage that they used, like, you know, when they list the nominees on TV on award shows,
Yes.
the footage that they were using were clips from the I Want You videos. They did I Want You, Love and Leave 'Em, Beth, and Hard Luck Woman for Japan as promo videos.
Yes.
They were
From the
using
Don Kirshner's rock concert.
Yeah, they were using those clips from that for Kiss since they weren't there. And man, it was all the fire and everything, and it just blew me away. Just completely blew. It was a visual thing from that minute. And I'd been hearing Beth on the radio at that point for months, never putting it together that the band that looked like that sounded like Beth. Only, you know, how surprised was I after I went out a week later and got Destroyer. That was my first time that I'd ever seen Kiss. But yeah, it was kind of just like, you know, Beth was just another ballad on the radio, and I didn't think anything more of it. And then I found out it's these guys. And then the obsession started that day, and it hasn't quit.
That's really cool to hear because, I mean, as you mentioned, I'm not old enough to experience Kiss in their quote unquote zenith. I got into the band much later. So talk a little bit about after you discovered the band. Were your friends Kiss fans? Were you kind of the lone wolf that was basically carrying the Kiss candelabra?
There was not. There you go. The candelabra. I love that. There was not even a handful of us at school. I was one of the few. I can think of two other friends right off the top of my head, especially when I was in grade school. But I was really young. Mm-hmm. But I was kind of ahead of the curve on rock and roll anyway than any of my other friends were anyway. I mean, you know, in '78 when Van Halen first came in, I was into Van Halen. I was already into Aerosmith. I was already into all that stuff because I had an older sister who got all those records. So that being said, I was pretty much almost on my own as a Kiss fan. But man, I didn't care. I never got a hard time for liking them, but I never had anybody who jumped on the bandwagon with me. So that was pretty much my own obsession for years until I hit about a teenager. Then I started meeting a lot more people who really loved Kiss.
So Destroyer was your first LP that you got.
Yeah.
I'm assuming you got it on LP. What was the first piece of merchandise that you remember getting? Was it the dolls or the radio or anything like that?
No, the first piece of merchandise I remember getting was shortly after that. My sister was out one day and came home. Remember the 4 motorcycle posters they did?
Of course.
Okay, she came home with Gene on the chopper, and it was the landscape, not the portrait version, the long one.
Yes.
And that was the first Kiss poster that was ever in my room. And at that point, again, being so little, man, I wasn't even aware of rock and roll posters. So once that started, that became my favorite obsession was Kiss posters.
Oh.
And, you know, and real quickly, you know, there would be no untaken space on my walls in my room at all.
I was the same way. I was the same way, but much later. I mean, my Kiss posters were from '96 and on.
Right.
And I went back and got the vintage ones later on once I kind of knew what they were. So
those are the best.
You've been a fan forever, and it's really cool to hear that there are still Kiss fans that discovered the band in the '70s. So you're a Kiss fan. You're a rock and roll fan. Did you ever think that you would be staring at the album cover of Destroyer and that you would actually be playing with half the members in that band?
No. Still makes me laugh. No. What I always said was I started playing guitar pretty young, and I always wanted to be in a band. Okay? And Kiss was always my favorite band. And but the thing was, I can, you know, my hand to God, I never imagined that I'd be in Kiss because it was just Kiss and that kind of thing. And I know I'm not in Kiss, but I'll get to the point. My biggest dream was to get a record deal, go on tour, and eventually at some point be asked to be the support act for a Kiss tour. Okay? That was my dream as far as getting as close to sharing a stage with anyone from Kiss. I was like, oh, you know, if my band gets a deal and they're still together and we can be the opening act on a whole tour for them, I'll be done. I'll be so happy. Man, I never in a million years would have, the thought never even crossed my mind of sharing a stage or being in a band with anybody from Kiss. So, you know, I not one day goes by that I overlook it or take it for granted or forget how fortunate I am. But, you know, it was a lot of work.
And
I
I've
love
seen
it.
you, and I've seen you interact with the fans, and you are extremely grateful for them because
Oh,
you know
thanks.
I got to say people know who you are now. People think that it's a kind of a trial by fire that one day you were just in the Gene Simmons band and that was
Right.
it. A lot of people don't know that you were in a band called the Big Rock Show before that
Yeah.
that supported Kiss on many of the early Kiss cruises.
Yeah, yeah. And what a lot of people don't understand is before that even is I was in a band that did get a record deal and toured worldwide called Hair of the Dog.
Oh.
And we did 3 albums. And then, I went on to play with bands like Skid Row and, just been touring. I've been touring musician since 1994.
Look at that.
And so, if you go and look up Hair of the Dog, you'll find 3 albums worth of material that I did and toured the world on and everything. So, that was all fun. And then Big Rock Show came together just as a fun thing to do with some friends. And we got asked to be on the first Kiss cruise, and that's when I got on the Kiss radar. So I've been touring since '94. So it's been great. I've been really lucky I've circled the globe several times with my guitar, and I absolutely love it.
Yeah, and people don't understand that the rock and roll life really isn't glamorous. It's a ton of work,
Not.
and you have to do it because you absolutely love it. Now, you're touring the world. I mean, Hair of the Dog is a thing of the past. Big Rock Show is on the Kiss cruise. How did that first conversation happen where Gene was going to put together these solo dates and wanted to have you guys? How did that happen?
I remember it like it was yesterday. It was November of 2016. It was the last day of the Kiss cruise. I found out a month before the Kiss cruise, he had obtained my email, I think, from Doc, because Doc and I have been friends for a really long time. We're neighbors, actually.
That's fun.
Yeah, Doc McGee, Kiss's manager. And anyway, one day I get an email from Gene. Hey. And he was talking about a project, would like to talk to you. And I was like, wow. Out of left field, not expecting anything. Doc didn't even tell me it was coming. So he and I start corresponding. And then it came to like, well, I see you're going to be on the boat. I'll see you there. Okay, great. So we go to set up meeting on day 1. His assistant calls. Can we move it? He's busy. Sure, I'm on here. I'm not going anywhere. Day 2. He's busy again. Can we move it? Sure. I'm here. I'm not going anywhere. Finally, the last day of the cruise, we had lunch, and I went in not knowing what in the heck. I had a little inkling of he had an idea, and that was it. Mm-hmm. And then we sat and talked for a while and had a great time. And then it was the very end of the conversation. He said, well, look, I have a handful of dates next year. I've been watching you do your thing. I kind of feel like you know what you're doing. How would you feel about putting together a band for me? And I already knew who I was going to ask. It was just easy. And I'll tell you, I left that room not only happy, but walking a lot taller, because it just kind of like, even though that I've been able to cross a few things off my list as far as like getting a record deal and touring the world, you know what I mean? All the things I wanted to do, I'd done. But I left the room walking a lot taller that day, just because it was that was like real validation that somebody from that band would trust me.
Someone that was on your wall, someone that your sister brought home that poster, and now this guy wants you to be in his band.
Yeah, and he said, I don't care who you get, I don't care what they look like. And I'm like, well, I already know who I'm going to ask, and they look great. They're rock stars. It's awesome. And then we went from there. And then, it was only supposed to be 4 or 5 tour dates. Wound up being over a year and a half.
And I was at the first show here in Cleveland, the very first
show
that you guys did together. I was here.
That was such a great show.
And my friend Paulie Simmons, I think, was on drums at the time, who I met when he was with Tom Kiefer back in the day.
He sure was. He's a great guy.
Yes,
and he even did one Ace gig with us as well.
Yeah, the Good Morning America show. So
that's it.
So it's been highly publicized that you're now in the Ace Frehley band, and I don't really want to hit that because there is a lot of questions surrounding that as to how it took place and who fired who and who. So I just want to stick to the positive stuff. Tell me, if you can, tell me a funny Ace story, because Ace is the biggest personality in the band, my opinion. and touring
Absolutely.
with him and working with him, there's got to be some off-the-wall funny stories because Ace is still out of this world. So what can you divulge
Absolutely.
about Ace?
I can tell you that he is a really kind, generous, funny guy.
Yeah.
And that's the way he always is around us.
Yes.
And we absolutely love it. Is he a bit spacey? Of course he is. That's how he got, he created his own persona just from real life.
Yes.
He's a great guy. But it's so funny. One of the funny things that we all joke about just is to, he's always kind of like, he's halfway, he always knows what's going on, but there's always a little element of like, where are we today? And I remember one of the funny things that we all tell that just still makes us laugh so hard. It's not a decadent story. It's not a dirty story. It's just a funny story.
Yes.
Is we were in Japan and we were leaving a show one night and we were like in the middle of the tour and he said to our then drummer, Christopher, he says, well, okay, Christopher, see you on the boat. And we had like 4 shows left, on the ship, on the cruise. And he's like, well, no, Ace, we got 4 more shows. And he goes, okay, we'll figure it out. We're like, okay.
I remember the last time I saw Christopher, he told me that story too, and I laughed then just as hard as I'm laughing now.
It's just funny because even though we are present with him, present in the middle of it, sometimes he gets just a little bit off and he forgets what's going to happen in the next 10 minutes, and I love it.
It's awesome. Okay, so you're working with the band now. You're in the band now. Are you still as big of a Kiss collector now as you were when you were growing up?
Yes and no, and I'll tell you how. I'm not trying to be vague. I'll give you specifics on the answer.
Okay.
Yes, because I love especially finding things that I never could get my hands on as a kid.
Uh-huh.
A lot of the current stuff I'm not really interested in as much, just because I've simply run out of room.
Okay.
And if I am going to get something, I want it to be something that really meant something to me years and years and years ago. I'm not as interested in the Spencer's Kiss Margarita picture today as I am in the originals 2 from Japan and from the 70s. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and we're the same way here at the show. We have a sister page that only talks about a coin merchandise. So we are
Got it.
We're strong believers of the official stuff. Like I don't really get a whole lot of the new stuff. I actually just came back from Target and I got those new 8-inch Mego dolls. They don't look the best, but hey, anytime I could buy a Kiss thing for $15, I'm going to do it. So if space, price, and availability was not a factor, what's your one Kiss item that you don't have that you would want?
Well, I have to think about that because I just actually got one. I just actually got it. I had been coveting, again, this was before year-round, I know you know, but there were 2 special edition things that were released in the 70s. The first one was called the Originals.
Yes.
And then the second one was Japan release only called the Originals 2.
Yes.
Well, I've got a really great clean copy of the first run, the Originals, with the first 3 records. Mm-hmm. And then I've been looking for a really great copy of the second one. It took years and years and years and years and years. And whenever I would come across one, it either was incomplete or it was completely banged up or it was missing, you know what I mean? There just wasn't good. I was real lucky. Just about a few weeks ago, a really kind fan from Osaka sent me a really clean, almost mint copy of the Originals 2.
Wow, that's incredible. Incredible.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that I've been wanting just forever. And I played with Ace this weekend, so I took it and had him sign it, which was really cool.
In my home state of New Jersey.
There you go. And it's honestly, man, I can't think of anything. You know what I'd really like is, remember the 3 jumbo Kiss posters that came out in the 70s?
Yes.
The 3 oversized?
Yes.
Okay, there's the one with them, the Barry Levine shot of them standing on the glass blocks in the middle.
Yes.
Okay. The next one is the Love Gun Alive 2 era, and the whole centerpiece is Peter's drum riser in the finale where it's risen up and you can see the cats and everything. Well, the third one, which was the very first one, is from the Alive tour.
Yes.
Okay. I have all 3 of them. But the one from the Alive tour is a complete mess. I'd like to find her. It's just been taken up and transported and moved too much, I would like a really clean copy of that. But it's funny. I've got so many of the 70s posters that are in tubes. The ones that have them in frames. I don't like just putting posters up. If I'm going to put them up, I want them to be framed and matted and in like a really nice frame and that kind of thing. So I've got tons of stuff just in poster tubes that aren't even up.
I store my posters in my my 78 Kiss trash can, so I have them all rolled up.
There you go.
In the trash
that's
can
fantastic.
because...
What a good idea. I'm going to steal that from you. I'm going to
not the
trash can, not the trash can, but the idea. I'm going to steal that idea, and I'm going to get a Kiss trash can. That is a great idea, man.
And
that's really great.
And I'm a huge collector of posters. I have the very first one that came with the. It didn't come with the very first album, but it was used to promote the first album. And the New York City poster from '77 was always my favorite one. So I've got that
one framed.
But again, I'm like you. I ran out of space, and
now, are you talking about let's rewind real quick. The first poster. Are you talking about the one where Peter's holding the knife?
Yes.
Oh, I love that one.
Yes,
love that.
That's
one.
the one.
I've never owned a copy of that. I've never owned that.
People say that it could have come with the album as a promo, but I don't have any evidence that it ever came with the album. The only evidence I have is that it was sent to radio stations and record stores to promote it. It was never as a package.
Was it creased?
Yes.
Okay. Because, man, when I got that album, I was a kid in the 70s, I know for a fact, because I can tell you every piece of memorabilia down to the order form. I can tell you what was in each record. and there was definitely nothing in Kiss. There was definitely nothing in Hotter Than Hell. And there was definitely nothing in Dress to Kill. Yeah. Like the items started showing up on Alive.
Yes, because you had the book in Alive, and then you had that heavy stock sleeve in Destroyer.
Yeah, with the lyrics on one side and the Kiss Army ad on the other. Yeah. Love it.
But like you, I ran out of room. A couple of years ago, I was gifted a very, very nice set of the solo album posters from the solo album.
Oh, great!
And it just so happened that the week that I was gifted those, a friend of mine was like, "Hey, I'm working at this frame store now. I don't know how long I'm going to be here. Do you have anything that you need?" And he basically gave the stuff away to me. So
that's great.
They're huge.
Yeah, because you know what? Because framing stuff, if you do it correctly and get it matted, it's not inexpensive.
No.
It's not inexpensive. So you hit the jackpot there. That's great.
So those things, they take up a lot of real estate in my house, but they're beautiful.
They do.
And
they do.
And I can't say, well, I'm going to take this down to put up, the End of the Road tour poster. Not to say the End of the Road tour poster isn't cool. It's just when you're seeing those images.
I know exactly where you're coming from. Yeah. I know exactly where you're coming from. I agree 100%. Yeah, it's just, I'm interested in the stuff that got me excited about the band in the first place. Like I said, I'm all about walking into a store and seeing Kiss stuff everywhere. I love that.
Yes.
Just because I love seeing it. But, do I need the Kiss Nacho Bowl? No.
Probably not.
Do I need the Kiss margarita pitcher? Not really. You know what I mean? And there's some fun stuff.
Well, do you have a Gene Simmons vault? Because that takes up a lot of real estate.
I do. I do. You know what? He gave one to all of us, to the band. And that's really cool. That's really, really cool. Jeremy and I looked out and we each got a boot.
Oh, no way. That is very cool.
Yeah. Yeah, the shell of the part that goes with the foot, not the whole part that goes up to the knee.
Yeah. I remember when he was giving those away, and a friend of mine in Cleveland at the vault, he actually got the boot, and I didn't. But hey, good for him. Good for him that he got it. He'll get a lot of enjoyment out of it here. So tell me, what's next? Everyone is thinking Ace is going to be on the End of the Road tour. They're all rumors. Nothing's official.
Right.
But I hear there are some Ace dates that have been announced. So talk a little bit about what's next for the brand new Ace Frehley band.
Yeah, there are. Well, as everyone knows, his new record, Spaceman, was released on October 19th. Mm-hmm. And that's why we did that New York appearance on TV, was to kick that off. Mm-hmm. So he's going to spend the next year supporting that record. As far as him being involved with the End of the Road tour, I've not been told anything about it, and that's all I can say about it, because the last thing I want to do is I've not heard anything about that.
Yeah,
I've
heard me neither. It's all speculation. It's all rumors. So
no, I've not been told he's going to do that, but I do know that we have dates starting the third week of January to support on the West Coast to support the new record. I was also told recently that we're going to be jumping on the Alice Cooper tour for 5 weeks, and then they're just going to start filling dates in all over, everywhere. It'll start filling up early next year.
Awesome.
I know he'll be getting his booking agent to book all that stuff. And then I heard him announce there's been rumblings because we just did the 78 solo record.
Yes.
This past weekend, at some point next year, and he even mentioned this at the expo. They're going to pick a venue somewhere in the States and film 2 nights for a DVD release.
And hopefully they hire me to do that. So we could only.
There you go. Great.
We could only hope. We could only hope for that. One of the.
That would be awesome.
One of my funniest Ace stories is I actually lucked out. I saw Ace on every tour that he came through since he's been back in 2008, and he always comes through Cleveland. Cool. And one of the times he was supporting the No Regrets book, and I guess he played a couple songs, and then he comes on stage to talk, and he goes, "Hey, did you guys know that I'm a fucking author now?" And then he launched into Parasite, and it was probably the funniest thing I've ever heard him do.
He's out of his mind.
And you always see funny things like that happen. With Ace, and I've been super vocal about the new Ace record. Ken Gullick and all the folks at E1 Entertainment, they're huge supporters of the show, and a huge shout out to them. But I've been really vocal that I haven't really loved a lot of Ace's solo material, but I love this Spaceman record, and I can't get enough of it. And I think I own 5 different copies of it because there are versions out there. And for anybody listening, there is a new version coming out there, a gold record version that you can get on Ace's website that is shipping the week before Christmas, which is soon. Which is soon. So
that's great. That's so great. We
had to get the plugs in there.
No, that's good. That's a good plug. And I'll tell you also, when we did that event in New York, I was dealing directly with the label on behalf of the band, and you're right. The label is super helpful, super accommodating, and they're super supportive of Ace, and I love that. Yeah. I love seeing that.
Yeah, they really kicked it out of the park, and anyone who's seen previous episodes, they've seen us open all those cool records and some of the cool inserts. So again, head over to Ace's website, head over to E1's website. You can pre-order the brand new version of Spaceman on vinyl, and I believe that you could still find some of the normal silver vinyl versions out there still, but I know the orange one and the purple one have been sold out at this point in time. But anyway, head over to E1's website to check all that stuff out to get a Spaceman on vinyl, and please get it on vinyl.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so Ryan, I really, really appreciate you sitting down with us. Any final thoughts? How can the fans get in touch with you? How can they find you? Where can they see you online?
Here we go. I'm a social media. I'm not good at social media, so forgive me. But if you want me on Instagram, I'm Ryan Cooke 1969, Ryan Cooke 1969 on Instagram, and on Facebook, I'm just Ryan Spencer Cooke.
Cool.
Easy to find. And I just want to tell everybody, I want to thank you for letting me be on your show. And anybody that's listening, that's come to see us or has been just supporting us in any way, I want to say thanks to everybody on behalf of the band because, we are KISS fans and we love doing this. And our whole goal is to work as hard as we can to be as true to the recordings as we can be, so no one ever leaves the show feeling like we left something out, because we really do try hard to, number one, be respectful and supportive to Gene and Ace, but also to the fans so they feel like we're treating the songs with respect.
Yeah, and if anybody hasn't seen Ryan in either the Ace Frehley or the Gene Simmons band, they're doing some really, really cool deep cuts. I know just this past week in New Jersey, you guys debuted all the tracks from the 78 Ace Frehley solo record, but you did other stuff too, like Naked City, and you've done stuff like You've played even the single from the Vault, Are You Ready? I mean, this is really cool stuff. This is the stuff that we wish that we could see KISS play all the time. But it's by the fans for the fans. So check out acefrehley.com for all the upcoming tour dates, and then hopefully we'll see an official announcement soon where you can check out Ace Frehley and Alice Cooper on tour. Ryan, listen, you have an open invitation to come back on the show anytime you want.
Oh, cool.
And
I will do it.
Hopefully we can do an on-the-road segment when you guys come close to Cleveland.
Absolutely. We'd love to. And I know Jeremy and Phil and Matt would love to speak with you too. They're huge KISS fans just like me. And, man, I still... Well, while I've lost a lot of it over the years, I still have a ton of cool Winterland, Coin Management, KISS memorabilia.
Yes.
And maybe one day we can go over that stuff because it's really cool.
Yeah, definitely. Well, listen, thank you so much, and we'll see you in a moment. It's always weird, like, introducing myself to myself because, you start the thing where you go, thanks. Like, when they hand it over when they're doing newscasts, it's always weird. Always weird.
Well, what can you do? So
what can you do?
Yeah.
So we're definitely going to have Ryan back when he's able to sit down and show us some of those things that he did talk about. And again, as soon as they come to Cleveland or the greater Cleveland area, you can bet we're going to do Kiss My Collectibles on site and then go and check out the show.
That'll be killer. That'll be killer.
Yeah.
So, appreciate Ryan sitting in. Appreciate you doing that on your own, Andrew.
Yeah.
Sorry I couldn't be there, but no. Yeah. What can you do?
What can you do?
I think I've said that 4 times this episode.
4 times. So, but yeah, so you got anything else?
I don't have anything else. I've got some cool goodies coming up the next time that we record.
Me too. Me too.
And more than just what I told you about beforehand, before we recorded. A couple of Japanese things coming in. So
ooh. I know our good friend Jonathan Fenno is on his way to Japan, and he asked me.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, he asked me. He's like, "Hey, is there anything you want me to be on the lookout for?" So I was like, "If you see any of these things, send me a message. Let me know, and we'll work something out."
Last time he was there, he was sending me pictures back when he was there of all of this incredible stuff he got. Not just Kiss stuff, but all kinds of incredible stuff. So. You can find some good stuff in those records. There's still plenty of record stores in Japan.
Yeah. It's kind of sad because the record store that I used to shop at as a kid in my hometown of Howell, New Jersey, a couple weeks ago announced that it was closing as of end of January.
I've actually seen a couple of big-time stores that, have announced closing, which is odd to me because I work in this business and I see so many new stores thriving on just vinyl, and then I read that HMV over in Europe is what
does that stand for? Because I read what it stands for and I can't remember.
I don't remember, but his master's voice.
His master's voice, yes.
Right. And I heard that they're in trouble and that they may be shutting every one of their stores down.
Well, a lot of these big businesses, they use their product as collateral when they're taking out loans, and if they don't sell the product for the correct amount of dollars, they can't pay back those loans, and then their assets could get seized. It's the same reason how Toys R Us got in such trouble. They used their assets to get loans, and then they couldn't pay back the loans, and then they couldn't get new merchandise in, and they weren't making sales. So, it's big retail business is very risky. The store, my childhood store, isn't closing because it lost sales. The owner just wants to do other things and doesn't.
I don't. That's just part of life.
Yes. Yes.
And it's good to hear that it's not going down because of due to lack of interest in the store, because I dearly love record stores, and of course I really love them because it's a huge part of my livelihood.
Yeah, it is your livelihood.
It is my livelihood, actually. So, but that's good to hear. But that HMV information is disturbing when you take down when a giant goes down like that.
I don't think it's disturbing because, and here's why. And this is just an outsider's perspective on this. These big businesses, they gouge not only the artists, but the consumer. You will go to any FYE, and any record you can get online will be at FYE $5 to $10 more. And yes, granted, I mean they made their business in shopping malls. For example,
they have to pay overhead that a lot of online guys don't have.
Exactly, but hear me out on this point.
I'm hearing you. Yeah.
Toys R Us made their living as freestanding stores. So typically Toys R Us was outside the mall. Then you had KB Toys, which was inside the mall, that would charge more than what Toys R Us was because this toy is here now. I'm in the mall. Mommy's not going to let me go to another store outside the mall. So that's how these businesses, they think. They go, well, you're already inside the mall. We can charge you more because you're already here. Now, everyone knows that shopping malls are kind of going down by the wayside, but these companies, I understand there's more overhead, but these companies made a pattern of gouging the consumer, and a lot of the consumers are waking up now based on online sales and Amazon sales and a lot of direct-to-consumer shops. They don't have to pay those outrageous prices anymore just because they're at the mall eating a pretzel. So, and I think information sharing is what brought a lot of these big businesses down, that made it okay to gouge your consumer. So I'm not surprised that we're seeing a lot of these people, a lot of these retail stores go downhill. They shouldn't have gouged the consumer for so long. They just shouldn't have. So I know
don't
it's part of the
disagree with you at
business.
all.
Yeah.
I worked for a family-owned small chain of record stores that was in business for over 40 years. For a decade, I worked for them for a decade, and we fought the fight against the Best Buys and the
remember,
Walmarts.
it used to be a fight because the Best Buys and the Walmarts were charging less, and your
Right.
mom and pop stores would have to charge more just to make their money back, because when you were purchasing stuff in such a vast quantity, you would get a bulk discount. But it's not that way anymore. These shops in these shopping malls are charging more. So again, I mean, we're totally off topic here, but that's just
way off topic.
But I've worked in malls. I used to work for the FYE, which is Trans World Entertainment. Used to work with them, so I saw the same stuff in our store for $28, but then I can go to another store and get it for $15. I saw it happen.
Let me tell you that I know we're off topic, way off topic, but let me tell you the concern from the business side that I work in. When you have, if your Trans World goes out of business and your HMV goes out of business, that's a huge chunk of sales away from the labels.
Correct.
That they're not going to recover in smaller stores. So all of a sudden their incentive to keep producing physical goods goes down because they don't have these large outlets that are taking large orders from them. So the fear becomes, if too many of the big guys go down who have the purchasing power.
Right. Why purchase the goods? Why purchase the goods if you're going to sell 5?
Why
500?
create the goods in the first place?
Okay.
So does it all go away?
Well, but just remember, too, you have other stores that are going to supplement that income. I mean, Target has a full aisle of vinyl at this point.
I know that. And Walmart is starting to bring it in, and that's a good thing.
Yes.
But yeah, I know they're selling it cheaper than the record stores. It's kind of a double-edged sword, but you want to have those outlets to incentivize the labels to pay money to press vinyl.
You're
to keep selling physical goods.
You're not wrong, but then on the other end, you have those universal websites, direct-to-consumer websites, which are awesome, and you can purchase and get it sent to your door. I don't think physical goods are going anywhere at this point. I just think you're all-in-one big music chain retailer that's selling music, movies, and more. It's changing.
For sure.
It's changing. So again, I'm gonna get off my soapbox, and someone could tell me I'm completely wrong. But as a consumer and as someone who has a little bit of experience in working in that side, that's the way that I see it. And again, so. But again, we're saying the same thing, just from different perspectives.
Sure. Interesting discussion. Anyway, I don't know how we got off on that, but anyway, that it? We good?
That's it for me, and hopefully we got some cool things coming in the next couple of shows.
Yeah, I hope so. Thank you all for watching and continuing to watch, and we will see you all on the next one.
See you on the next one. Chowda.